and to invade the Jewish occupied city of Jerusalem. And the account reveals the dire conditions and immense atrocities endured by the besieged, inhabitants of Jerusalem during that time. And these people were scared for their lives because, although they had, gone into exile from Babylon many years ago, and God allowed them to return to Jerusalem, and then they were attacked by the Greeks, and the Greeks had defiled the temple, and they had rededicated the temple. And now the Romans are at their footsteps, looking to, once again, destroy the city. The citizens of Jerusalem were terrified, and we see that, Joseph describes how the city was being besieged by Roman forces, and this led to a severe famine in the city, and the scarcity of food was actually so extreme that people resorted to consuming leather belts and even, dried grass. So they had nothing to eat, the Jews, because of the siege. And the suffering was actually, getting more, the suffering was happening more and more. And now, because of the infighting among different factions of the city, so not only were the Jews under siege by Rome, but they were also infighting among the Jews, including the rise of the Zealots, which, were a group of religious people who, take after Psalm in the Bible where David says that he has zeal for the Lord. But the Zealots actually, cruelly oppressed their own fellow citizens, and their fanatical zeal for independence executed anyone suspected of wanting to negotiate with the Romans or attempting to flee the city. The Zealots wanted no part of Rome, and they were like these liberal guerrilla warriors who, like the Maccabees, wanted to keep Israel as a monotheistic nation, but unfortunately they were overthrown by Rome, and many of them were crucified. And now comparing the story of Josephus account to Mark chapter 13, we see that Jesus actually predicts the fall of Jerusalem, which happened 70 years after his death and resurrection, and the eventual destruction of the Second Temple. And Jesus forewarns about false prophets and wars and commotions, painting a big picture of impending tribulations. And of course, Jesus wasn't only talking about wars and rumors of wars back then, but he's also talking about, threats and rumors of wars going on right now with, Ukraine and Russia and the Middle East and other parts of the world. And we see in Mark that Jesus cautions people to be vigilant and not to be deceived by false messiahs or the upheaval around them. And, after comparing Joseph's account with Jesus' prophecy, it's evident that the sufferings detailed by Josephus also align with Jesus' predictions. The famines and infighting described by, the Jewish historian mirror the distressing events prophesied by Jesus, and his words resonate with the historical reality of the Jewish people during their revolt against Rome, underscoring the accuracy of his foresight and emphasizing the importance of heeding his warnings amidst the tumultuous times. And Jesus' prophetic words actually serve as a poignant reminder of the suffering and upheaval that unfolded, emphasizing the need for spiritual resilience and steadfastness in the face of such trials. And of course, not only was Jesus talking about the trials, the disciples and the whole Jewish nation of Israel had to face back then, but also the trials and tribulations that we Christians are facing now and will unfortunately face in the future with the end of the world and the Antichrist. But although these trials aren't meant to break us, these trials are actually meant to define us, to make us, to purify us, to make us come out as gold before God, and to withstand any circumstances that come into our lives, because for the Christian, we are going to face trials, we are going to face tribulations and hardships, maybe not as much as the Jews did or people in the Middle East, but others are. Now, we see America slowly decaying, and many people don't support Christianity anymore. Actually wants to, root Christianity out of America, and it's something that is unfortunately still going on.